Success is not a big leap. It's a series of small steps, tiny disciplines done consistently shape your destiny. I want you to think about something today. Something simple. Not the big wins. Not the million-dollar deals. Not the trophies, the applause, or the grand achievements. No, those are just the results. I want you to think about the small things. Because success, real success, doesn't start with a big event. It starts with the little choices you make. The decision to wake up early. The choice to read for 10 minutes. The commitment to improve just one thing today. These small daily challenges, my friend, are what separate those who dream from those who achieve. You see, success is not about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about who you know or where you started. It's about what you do every single day. And today, I'm going to show you why. Let's begin. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. Well, let's begin with something simple. It's easy to believe that success comes from one big breakthrough. We all hear about those instant overnight wins, those stories of people who hit it big after a single moment of luck. We read about athletes who make it to the top after one incredible performance, or business moguls who built empires after a lucky investment. But that's not the full picture. Real success, the kind that lasts, is built in the quiet moments, the ones that no one sees. Success is a product of small, consistent actions. Small challenges you tackle every day, day in and day out. Think about it. What if you could become 1% better every day? You're not looking to make drastic changes in your life today. You're looking to take one small step. One small action. One simple discipline. Here's the truth: the journey to greatness is paved by the small things you choose to do today. One decision. One task. Success is the sum of small efforts, repeated day in and day out. You may think it's not enough to make a difference. You may question if your efforts are even worthwhile. But here's where the magic happens. These tiny actions accumulate. They build on each other in ways that are impossible to see immediately. If you exercise just 10 minutes a day, it doesn't feel like much at first, does it? But in time, those 10 minutes add up. You get stronger, healthier, more energetic, and eventually you'll look back and realize you've changed your life. That's how success works. You don't need to run a marathon today to become a runner. You just need to lace up your shoes and take the first step. Then the second. And the third. The true challenge lies in doing it every day. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If you want to change your life, it's not about waiting for a big moment to come. It's about showing up every single day and doing the small things that others aren't willing to do. These challenges, the ones that feel so insignificant in the moment, are the ones that will ultimately lead you to where you want to go. It's not always glamorous. It's not always easy. But in the end, these small actions will compound, and they'll lead to results far greater than you ever imagined. So today, I challenge you: start with one small thing. Make it a habit, and keep doing it. Over time, you'll see how these small daily challenges create momentum, drive success, and shape your destiny. You may not notice the changes right away, but as sure as the sun rises, they are happening. Success is steady progress toward one's personal goals. Let's talk about something that might change the way you look at your progress: the 1% rule. You've probably heard the idea that small changes lead to big results. But here's the twisting: it's not about making massive strides overnight. It's about making tiny improvements that compound over time. Imagine this: if you improve just % every day, do you know what would happen? After a year, you'd be 37 times better than you were at the start. That's the power of consistency. Most people look at their goals and think, I have to do something huge, something extraordinary, to make a real difference. They want to take big leaps, make giant moves, and see massive results in a short time. But the truth is, that's not how success works. Success is about focusing on the small steps, the little details that you can improve upon every single day. Let me put it this way: if you can just focus on getting % better each day, That's 365 small wins in a year. And that percent, it may seem insignificant at first, will add up to something extraordinary. You're not looking for a massive transformation in a single day. You're looking for consistent, small improvements that gradually lead you to the top. Here's an example. Let's say you're working on a goal to write a book. If you write just one page every day, that doesn't feel like much. One page. It doesn't sound like a lot. But here's the thing, at the end of a year, you've written 365 pages. Enough for a full-length book. What seemed like a small daily effort turns into something big. Something impactful. Something you can be proud of. The 1% rule works in every area of life. It doesn't matter if you're working on your fitness, your career, your relationships, or your personal development. Tiny steps, when repeated every day, lead to massive transformation. But it's not just about doing a little bit better each day. It's about being focused on that tiny improvement. Focus is the key here. When you focus on a small, achievable goal, like improving just 1 cent, you make it easier to stay committed. And as you do, you create a habit. Your habits are the foundation for your success. Most people fail because they make things too complicated. They set goals that are too big, and when they don't see immediate results, they get discouraged. But with the 1% rule, you break it down into something manageable, something achievable. And the key is consistency. You don't need to do everything today. You just need to do something. Whether you're building your business, improving your health, or mastering a new skill, it's the daily focus that makes the difference. When you focus on small daily challenges, tiny steps toward your bigger goals, you keep moving forward, even on days when you feel like you're not making much progress. And over time, those small improvements stack up, leading you to big results. It's the power of the small, the insignificant seeming actions that most people overlook. Those are the things that compound and create extraordinary results. Now, you may be asking yourself, how do I stay consistent? How do I keep going when the results don't come right away? That's exactly what we'll talk about next. The power of consistency and how to overcome resistance. But for now, remember this. The key to success is focusing on the small things, improving by just 1% every day. It might not seem like much at first, but when you look back after a year, you'll see how far you've come. We must all suffer one of two things: the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Laziness, procrastination, excuses. These are the silent killers of success. They whisper in your ear, telling you, it's okay to wait until tomorrow. They make you believe that you'll start your journey later, but later never comes. Have you ever found yourself saying, I'll do it tomorrow? Have you ever put off something important because it felt too hard, too uncomfortable, or too time-consuming? I know I have. But here's the harsh truth. The difference between those who succeed and those who fail is simply this: those who succeed learn to fight the temptation to be lazy and make excuses. Let's get real. Life will always give you reasons to quit. It will always throw obstacles in your path. There will be days when you don't feel like it, when you're tired, when you're not motivated. It's part of the journey. But what separates the winners from the rest? The winners have learned how to push past those feelings. They have mastered the art of discipline. They've learned to start anyway. Success is what you attract by the person you become. When you're consistent in doing the hard things, even when you don't feel like it, you transform. You become a person who doesn't make excuses, who doesn't wait for motivation, who doesn't wait for the perfect moment. Success doesn't wait for you to feel ready. Success doesn't wait for you to feel motivated. Success doesn't wait for the conditions to be perfect. No, success waits for you to show up. When you get to the point where you don't need an excuse to work, where you don't need motivation to keep going, where you've built the muscle of discipline, that's when things start changing. But how do you overcome laziness and excuses? How do you build the discipline needed to succeed? It starts with these. Recognize that excuses are just fear in disguise. Every time you tell yourself, "I'll do it tomorrow," what you're really saying is, "I'm afraid of failing. I'm afraid of the work. I'm afraid of the discomfort." But the truth is, the work will always be easier than the regret. I've heard people say they're afraid of failing, but I'd argue that the real fear we should have is the fear of never trying. The fear of looking back and wishing we had worked harder, pushed more, and overcome our laziness. And that's what happens when we let excuses control our lives. We wake up one day and realize we've wasted precious time. We've missed opportunities, we've let fear dictate our choices. Now, I know it's not easy. I know there are days when the couch calls your name louder than your goals. There are days when it feels easier to quit than to keep going. But if you want to achieve anything in life, anything at all, you have to push through that discomfort. Here's how you can overcome laziness and excuses. Recognize the cost. Every time you make an excuse, you're paying a price. That price is your future, your potential, your success. Think about that the next time you feel tempted to slack off. Start small. Don't try to change everything at once. Just take one step. Even if you only have the energy to do one small thing, do it. Momentum will build, and the next step will feel easier. Create accountability. Tell someone about your goals. Tell them about your daily commitments. When someone else knows what you're working on, it becomes harder to let excuses take over. Embrace discomfort. Real growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone. So the next time you feel resistance, lean into it. Embrace the discomfort. That's where the magic happens. Just get started. The hardest part of any task is starting. Once you begin, the work becomes easier. You'll find that the hardest thing about discipline is starting. Once you do, the momentum takes over. Remember, success is the result of doing the things others aren't willing to do. Most people would rather make excuses than put in the work. They'd rather be comfortable than disciplined. But the successful ones, they do the opposite. They show up every day. They make the sacrifices. They don't wait for motivation. They create it. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. If you want to reach your goals, if you want to see your dreams come true, you must make discipline your new best friend. And you can start by overcoming laziness and excuses today. Success is not something you pursue. Success is something you attract by the person you become. You've heard the saying, success is not an accident. But here's the thing. While success isn't an accident, it can certainly be predicted. It can be designed. And it starts with setting up your life in a way that makes success inevitable. Think about it. There are certain habits, routines, and environments that make it much easier to succeed. Just as an athlete creates an environment that supports their training. Good food, a focused mindset, and physical preparation. You can create an environment that nurtures your success. The question is, how do you do that? Well, it starts with systems. The routines and structures that work in the background of your life, almost automatically, pushing you toward your goals. Success isn't about hoping for the best. It's about setting up your life so that your daily actions and decisions lead you naturally to success. Here's the key: you are the sum of your habits. If you want success, you need to set up your life so that it is full of the right habits. Habits that pull you in the direction of your dreams. Habits that align with the kind of person you want to become. Let's break this down. First, start by designing your morning routine. What you do in the morning sets the tone for your entire day. If you wake up late, rush through breakfast, and start your day in chaos, that's exactly how your day will unfold. Chaos. But if you wake up early, with intention and purpose, you can begin your day on the right note. Start with something simple. Whether it's a quick workout, reading a book that inspires you, or planning your day with focus. These small actions create a sense of control and discipline that will carry you throughout the day. You see, the early morning hours are the most productive hours of the day. Those first hours are when your mind is fresh and your energy is at its peak. The decisions you make in the morning have a ripple effect on the rest of your day. They can either set you up for success, or they can send you down a path of distraction and failure. Take charge of those first hours. Use them wisely. If you spend them aimlessly, you'll have less time for everything else. But if you spend them intentionally, on the things that matter most, you'll create a strong foundation for the rest of the day. The early morning hours are the most productive hours of the day. Next, think about your environment. Your surroundings have an incredible impact on your success. If you're surrounded by negativity, distractions, or people who don't support your vision, it will be much harder to stay on track. Create an environment that inspires you, that encourages focus, and that helps you to stay motivated. Surround yourself with people who believe in you and push you to grow. Eliminate distractions that take away your time and energy. You can't change your environment until you change yourself. Think about this. If you live in a cluttered, chaotic space, your mind will mirror that chaos. You'll find it harder to focus, to think clearly, and to make decisions. But if you create an environment that is organized, peaceful, and inspiring, your mind will respond in kind. The same goes for the people you spend your time with. If you're constantly around people who are negative or unsupportive, it becomes much harder to stay focused on your goals. You need to surround yourself with people who are on the same journey, who are as committed to growth as you are. When you do that, you'll be lifted up by their energy, their positivity, and their drive. Now, let's talk about automating your success. One of the most powerful things you can do is automate your good habits. Set up routines that require no thinking, no decisions, and no willpower. For example, if you want to get in shape, don't rely on motivation. Schedule your workouts into your calendar and treat them like appointments that cannot be missed. Make it automatic. If you want to read more, create a reading routine. Decide how many pages or chapters you'll read each day and set a time to do it every single day. If you do it at the same time each day, it becomes a habit, and before you know it, it's automatic. The more you automate, the less you have to think about it. The idea is to make success inevitable. By setting up systems, routines, and environments that support your goals, you remove the need for constant decision-making. You don't need to decide whether or not you'll work out today or whether or not you'll eat healthy. These choices are already made because they are built into your systems. When you automate your good habits, you remove the struggle. You stop having to rely on willpower or motivation, and instead, you let the system work for you. You don't need to rely on the fleeting feelings of motivation to take action. It just becomes a part of your daily rhythm. Another powerful way to set yourself up for automatic success is by using triggers. For example, you can set a trigger to remind you to take action. This could be something as simple as a calendar reminder, a phone alarm, or a sticky note on your desk. These external cues serve as gentle nudges that keep you on track. I've heard it said that success is the result of consistently applying basic fundamentals. The truth is, small habits, done daily, compound over time and become your success. But sometimes, we need reminders. We need those triggers to help us stay aligned with our goals. Don't underestimate the power of simple reminders. Whether it's setting an alarm to remind you to read or putting a note on your fridge to eat healthier, these small actions can help keep you focused and accountable. Success also comes down to the ability to focus. You've got to be able to shut out distractions and focus on what really matters. Most people never achieve their goals because they're distracted by the trivial things of life, the noise, the social media, the unnecessary drama. If you want to succeed, you've got to be able to filter out all of that noise. Focus on what's important. If you have a goal, stay focused on it. Don't get sidetracked by shiny objects that pull you away from your path. You must ask yourself, what's the one thing I can do today that will bring me closer to my goal? And then do it. Success is not about doing everything. It's about doing the right things. It's about prioritizing, eliminating distractions, and focusing on what truly matters. If you can build this kind of focus into your life, you will set yourself up for inevitable success. Success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines, practiced every day. Setting up your life for automatic success. So, how do you set up your life for automatic success? It's simple, but it requires consistency. Design your daily routines, especially your morning routine. Create an environment that nurtures your success. Automate your good habits and remove decision fatigue. Use triggers and reminders to keep you on track. Focus on what matters and eliminate distractions. Success doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a constant battle. Once you set your life up in a way that supports your goals, you'll find that success becomes a natural byproduct of your daily actions. Success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. Let's slow down for a moment. Take a deep breath. Close your eyes if you need to. Now, I want you to imagine yourself 5 years from today. Where are you? What does your life look like? How does it feel? Chances are, when you think of your future success, you imagine something grand. A big house, financial freedom, recognition, a dream job, or perhaps the lifestyle you've always wanted. But here's the truth I want to share with you today. Success doesn't happen overnight. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that things should move faster, that we should be able to see results immediately. Society has conditioned us to expect instant gratification. We see the highlight reels of others' lives and forget the years of effort, sacrifice, and consistency that went into getting there. But the truth is this: success is a long-term game. And in order to win, you must trust the process and remain committed to the journey, no matter how slow or challenging it may feel at times. The greatest mistake you can make in life is to be continually fearing that you will make one. I've said it before, and I'll say it again: success is the result of small, consistent actions. But here's the key: you have to trust that those small actions will add up over time. The daily effort you put in, no matter how seemingly insignificant, is shaping your future. Each step, no matter how small, is leading you closer to your goal. But it's only by trusting the process and keeping your eyes on the long-term horizon that you'll realize just how far you've come. When you're in the middle of your journey, it can feel like you're not making progress. You put in the work day in and day out, and yet the results are slow to come. It's easy to get frustrated and lose faith. But remember this: the process doesn't always show immediate results, but it is always working in your favor. Think of a seed planted in the ground. It takes time for that seed to grow. It doesn't shoot up overnight. But with the right conditions, consistent care, proper sunlight, water, and patience, it will eventually break through the soil and flourish into a beautiful tree. You don't see the roots growing deep beneath the surface, but that underground growth is just as important as what eventually reaches the surface. Success works the same way. It's the small actions you take each day that build the foundation for your success. But you can't rush the process. You have to give it time to grow, and trust that every day you're getting closer to your goals, even if you can't always see the progress. Don't wish for less challenges. Wish for more skills. Let's talk about skill for a moment. The process isn't just about putting in the time, it's about becoming better, stronger, and more skilled with each passing day. Trusting the process means trusting that every time you face a challenge, you're learning and growing. And that growth is cumulative. You might not be able to see it right now, but you are becoming something greater. Each decision, each small challenge you take on, is preparing you for the next level. And when you look back one day, you'll realize just how far you've come. And you'll understand that the challenges you faced and the patience you practiced were the keys to unlocking your success. Long-term thinking is all about looking at the big picture. When you look ahead and envision your success, think in terms of years, not days or months. Understand that every small effort, every action you take, Every bit of discomfort you experience today is part of the foundation for your future. The key to your better future is you. This long-term thinking is what separates those who succeed from those who give up too soon. It's easy to get discouraged when results don't come immediately. But you have to realize that success is built through years of consistent effort. I know it's tough sometimes. You might feel like giving up. You might think that your efforts aren't paying off. But trust me, they are. Even when you can't see it, the work you're putting in is shaping your future success. Keep moving forward, trust the process, and understand that the results will come. And here's something important: it's not about perfection. It's about progress. Every small effort you make compounds, and every small failure is simply a lesson gets you closer to your goals. So, don't focus too much on the end result. Focus on doing your best today. That's the key to long-term success. What you get by achieving your goals is not as important as what you become by achieving your goals. Ultimately, the journey is just as important as the destination. As you trust the process, you're not only working towards your goals, you're becoming a better version of yourself. Each step, each challenge, each small victory is an opportunity for personal growth. And that, my friends, is the true reward of success. So, embrace the process. Trust the path you're on. Stay committed to the small challenges and know that they are leading you to bigger and better things. Don't get discouraged by how far you have to go. Instead, celebrate how far you've come. And always remember, success isn't about the destination. It's about the person you become on the journey. Keep moving forward, trust the process, and success will follow. Success is not to be pursued, it is to be attracted by the person you become.